In 2 weeks, Republican presidential candidates will face a critical test. The Ames Iowa straw poll will reveal which candidates should be viewed as the favorites going into next year's caucuses. And Ames is going to be a big turning point, for better or worse, for the candidacy of Tim Pawlenty. Last week, Candy sat down with the former Minnesota governor in Des Moines.
Governor, thank you for joining us. I want to talk about your new ad that you have out there using the "Do You Believe in Miracles" from the famous American hockey team that won.
Prove the experts wrong. I'm Tim Pawlenty.
The concession, I think, from you that you're running an underdog race, and the question is why?
Well, for starters, I'm not as well known as somebody who ran last time or has celebrity from other reasons, so we have to do this the old-fashioned way. Retail in early states like Iowa, hard work, 700 miles in an RV, dubbed the Road to Results Tour, highlighting my record, not of just giving speeches or talking. We had enough of that with President Obama, but getting things done in Minnesota in areas like spending and taxes and conservative court appointments. I think when people in Iowa and across the country see what I did as a leader, our numbers are going to move to the positive, and they already are in Iowa.
And we have a poll out recently that still shows you 2, 3, 4% around in there. And I grant you that you are not a household name in Iowa or New Hampshire in the early states, but neither is Herman Cain, neither is Michelle Bachmann, both of whom have caught fire. This must be frustrating to you at some level.
Not so much, because I'm a student like you are. These campaigns and history, Candy, the people who are doing well in early polls almost never become the nominees. If they did, Rudy Giuliani last time was ahead of 10 or 20 points. He would be president today.
Not in Iowa,
Hillary Clinton was way ahead in Iowa. So these things are not good predictors. And, of course, people get attention based on other factors. But over the long haul, when you look at record of results, leadership, executive experience, and getting things done and not just talking about it, when the people of Iowa zoom in on that, as they will, we're going to do well. And starting with the Ames straw poll coming up.
And resume for resume, you have, started out as a campaign driver, which I hadn't realized until I read some of the research, but you've been in the state legislature, you've been a governor, you have a very lengthy resume. And I just wonder if sometimes when you look at the way the race has gone so far, if you think, what is it? Is there an X factor here that I'm missing?
Well, I think the X factor, of course, is people initially get buzz or impact around the media impression, but over the long haul, people look for that impression to be not just somebody who's loud, not just somebody who's entertaining, but can they really be president of the United States? And look, I think people want somebody in the Oval Office who has a experienced, seasoned record of results. That's what I bring to it. And I think people in Iowa are figuring that out, and you're starting to see our numbers move to the positive. But the point is, we live in very serious and challenging times. And look, if somebody wants the entertainer-in-chief or the comedian-in-chief or the loudest person in the room who just, has great speeches, that's not me. You got to be authentic. If you look for what has this person done in terms of results on spending, on taxes, doing health care reform the right way, conservative appointments, all the Republican candidates are going to say they did it or could do it. I've actually done it. And I think voters will figure that out. They're wise and discerning people, and the flavor of the month comes and goes. But if you look at these races over the long haul, that's going to be a very important criteria.
Flavor of the month, needs to have executive experience. These are all code words for Michelle Bachmann.
Well, look, I know Congresswoman Bachmann. I like her. I've campaigned for her. I respect her. We share many or most conservative values. But the fact of the matter is, as I've said before, her record in Congress in terms of results is non-existent. And she doesn't have the executive experience of running a large enterprise with a public component and driving it to good results. I have.
What about passion? I wonder, sometimes people say, oh, he's so nice. Is he too nice? Do you have the fire in the belly?
Of course. And look, everybody has different styles, and leadership styles can vary. And I've got more than one gear. And you look at what I did in Minnesota, one of the most difficult political environments in the country for a Republican. First government shutdown in 150 years, set a record for vetoes, used executive authority to cut more money out of the budget in my 8 years as governor than all the 142 years worth of governors combined. So this idea that, I haven't fought. Look, you've been in bars. The person who shoots their mouth off, the loudest person, usually isn't the toughest. Don't confuse being positive or optimistic with being weak. You can be both strong and pleasant and nice. Those aren't contradictory things, and Ronald Reagan's a great example of that.
Let me ask you about the Ames straw poll. You've got a couple weeks till the Ames straw poll. You have said we need to show movement, trajectory. Your aides have said that. Does the Ames straw poll matter to you in terms of of your intent to stay in through the caucuses and beyond?
Well, we're in this race to win. We're going to win the Iowa caucuses. I suppose if we came in dead last or something in the straw poll, that may have a bearing, but we're not going to do that. We're already showing good progress, and our goal is to move, as I said earlier, from towards the back of the pack towards the front of the pack. I'm absolutely confident that will happen. And this idea that we're going to drop out after the Ames straw poll is preposterous.
And also difficult to fight politically. Right? I mean, if you're raising money, it's hard when people are going, oh, well, if he doesn't do well in the Ames straw poll,
well, I don't see those stories about Rick Santorum or Newt Gingrich or Herman Cain or, the others. So, obviously Mitt Romney's been the front runner, is the established front runner. We acknowledge that. But he was the front runner last time. And there's plenty of time and plenty of room for others to catch him, and we will.
Governor Pawlenty, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.